Alright, hi everybody. We are going to wrap up our self-portrait by finishing out our hair. So if you've got straight or, like wavy hair, it's going to be pretty easy to do this with just a graphite pencil. If we have really textured or really curly hair, we're going to want to use charcoal. So if you want to use charcoal, you might want to go look at a different tutorial or watch my demo during class. All right, so what I'm going to start by doing is coming in and accentuating some of these marks that I made earlier. So they're really clear to see. Alright, so I got those in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, make sure my eraser is nice and clean by testing it out on my other paper first. And I'm going to go ahead and flip it back over. There we go. And I'm going to come in and take out all of my grid lines. And as you see, I'm making sure that I'm getting all of those letters at the top gone as well. Just make sure you're being really careful when you get towards the edge of your paper with your eraser, so that you don't rip up and tear it. Alright, so now I'm coming in and I've got most of those grid lines out. So I'm going to start looking again by coming in and just adding some depth into parts of these marks. so that I know where they are, and then we're going to put in a ground. The thing I'm going to do is make sure to take my pencil and do some nice dark shading back behind my hair where it's just the background. And I can do the same thing over in this corner. Again, just layering up that dark shade. Alright, so now I got my dark corner and my sides in. So now I'm going to come in and just put a light ground over my whole drawing. Just in the hair though. Make sure that eraser is out of there. Alright, so obviously laying in a ground over our whole drawing for our top of our hair might take a while. So making sure that we have a nice sharpened pencil is really going to help, because it's going to give us that long lead exposure that we can come around with. so now that I got that ground in there, I'm going to start looking at some of the areas where I've got a little bit darker hair. I'm going to come in and just start layering in where some of that dark is. And if I have to put my hand on my drawing, I can put a piece of paper down underneath it so that it doesn't smudge. Alright, so now I'm coming back up for the hair, layering in some of those darker sections. And my hair is very light. So for a lot of this, I'm just trying to get some directional markings in. That again are very light. We're putting in some texture. Getting in some of that shade where it's seen. There's a lot of shade right in here. In this little pocket. And that lightens back up. And again, it stays pretty good until we come over here to this pocket. I'm keeping all of those marks directional. I'm going to turn my paper, turn my reference drawing, and then come over here and do the other side. Alright, so now that I've got all of that directional marking in, I'm going to come in with my fresh eraser and start pulling out some of the highlights. Alright, so now that I've gone in and pulled out some of that highlight in here, I'm just going to go back in with my pencil. And go ahead and make some of those markings around it. Again, just a little bit darker. So here the main thing I'm really focusing on is pushing in a lot of color blocks into some areas and leaving some of them lighter, and then going in and adding a few individual strands for some texture. And pushing in some of that definition. So if you look at this half, right, it sticks out a little bit more as hair. And now I can come over to this side and do that same thing. Again, always come back in with that eraser to pull out some highlights if you think we put in too much. And I definitely have this middle part of my hair here that's got more highlights in it. Alright, so there, I go ahead and just come in and touch up anywhere that I see some lines that I might want to erase or switch around. And there I've got the top of my hair. And now we can come back in with the lower half. And again, I'm going to come in and erase out my grid. So if you've done it light enough, there's a good chance that, you know, if you have some remnants left over, it's fine because it'll just blend right out. Alright, so now that I got my grid mostly erased, I can make sure all of my eraser dust is off. And then same thing. Come in and accentuate some of my lines. Just by making them a little bit darker. These are the lines that tell us what's happening with our hair. All right. So now here, I've got sections of hair that's much darker. So I'm gonna locate where that is and just right off the bat, come in along the side and start making some darker bits of shade for my hair. So here I'm trying to mix up the length of the lines that I'm doing. And making sure that there is that direction that they're going in. And then I can push and pull some darker elements in all of that. Where my hair gets a bit darker. And again, for the most part, all I'm doing is focusing on the big chunks of value in my hair. And just making sure that my lines are continuously directional as I'm filling them in. Alright, and after I come down through this loop, I can come in and find some of those darker marks again, where our hairs are kind of hiding behind each other. And now I can come in with my pencil and just start bringing out some of those lines. Of highlight in my hair. Making sure to still leave in some of those chunks of shadow, because some of our hair does sit behind each other and show that shadow. So there we go, I've got that first big strand done through here. Maybe I even want to bring in a ground and just across this whole shape here. Really make sure that it's pushed back. So that now when we come forward and do this, this looks like it is way, way back. I'm going to push the shadow back a bit too. Darken it up a bit. Alright, so now that really looks like it's sitting back in there. Maybe bring out a few more darker values down in here. I can focus on all the blonde happening over here. But doing that same thing, I'm gonna sharpen my pencil to make sure I've got all that good lead exposure. So I'm gonna come in again, lay in my ground to work from, making sure all my ground is still directional. I just look at this here to look at. Through there is where that starts to kind of end. So I'm going to come in and start pushing in some of those darker marks to give it some texture. And let it curl a bit down at the ends. Come in and just smooth some of that shade out. Same thing through here, just to flatten it just a little bit. Find a few more of those areas where the hair starts to disappear under itself. Give that some shadow. Alright, so now I've got all that texture in my hair, and I want to start pulling out the highlights again, which are all happening right through here. So for me, highlight heavy towards the bottom. And then we're going to come in and add some highlight throughout the top as well. Pull out a few down in here. Maybe just a few even in this dark spot. Alright, so now we've got the hair coming down that side. And then down on this corner is where I have my shirt. So what I'm going to do there is come in and lay in that really dark ground. Again, using my spare picture upside down so that I don't smudge any of the stuff that I've drawn. Alright, now if I look in my shirt, there was a little bit of a design in there, kind of plaid. So all I'm going to do is come in and take some directional lines to give what starts to look like a pattern on my shirt. And it's very subtle. And then I have a darker mark right in here that I'm going to come in and just shade in that shadow in the shirt by building up some texture, or not texture, sorry, value. And a few of these places that we're seeing those wrinkles. Just a few. And now I can come in and do some of those flyaways by just erasing out over that ground that I put in. And now my hair blends in nice with that. So now I've got that side done. And now we can come over and to our other side. I'm gonna come in and add a little bit to the shadow that was through here. And we've got more of the shirt through here. So I'm gonna come in and add in that ground too. Got a bit of that pattern now sticking through for my shirt down at my hair. And I'm going to come back up and start on my other side. Alright, so over here, I'm going to make sure that that shadow along the side of my face is nice and dark. And then I'm going to just pull over some darker ground. For my hair and coming through these different strands through here. Now coming back in, pulling out some of those individual hairs up here. Finding some of those spots where it's a little bit darker. And then bringing in my pencil, or sorry, eraser, to pull out some of those highlights. And I kind of keep pushing back some of that really dark hair that's back in here. And then it will make its way through here. So again, keeping all that hair very directional. And then I think this up here is actually my shirt peeking through. So bring that up to here. Darken it up, and then I'm going to come through and again just add those marks, that show some type of pattern happening. And then keep coming in with my hair. Continuing to lay in all of this texture. Finding a few of those dark spots to push in and out. This nice, really big loop of blonde that comes up through here. And then we get a lot of highlight right in here as it curves down. So point out some highlight here. So I'm going to come back in and add some of those directional marks in here. And add some more highlight as the hair turns. Alright, so then we got our hair over on that side. And now the last thing I can do is come in and again lay in that ground for my shirt. I'm going to go ahead and accentuate some of these lines. Over my paper, so I can just kind of pull that off. And again, part of my shirt is nice and dark, so I'm going to come in and give it a nice dark brown to work with. Alright, so this line here is a bit of a fold, so I'm going to make it a little bit darker. I've got another fold happening over here. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Got another one coming on over here. And then what I'm going to do is follow my pattern with some of the folds. which just means as it goes over the fold, it's going to change direction a little bit. And then same thing with our cross ones, is we can start to come around that shadow and figure out how those lines would come across. And then on this shadow, I'm going to turn them this way so they come across like that. And now I can come in with my eraser and give us some of those hairs that sweep into that. Kind of blend out that edge. Right, pull a few major ones in there. Same thing over here. Alright, so now I've got the bottom of my hair done. I can come up and look at the top and see if I'm happy with that. Let's see, 42 minutes in. So what I'm going to do is come up across my top part of my hair and just lay in some more value up at the top where it kind of begins to shade. And then I'm going to bring down some of that a bit. To really accentuate it. If I come in and I blend that out. I'm going to come in here and add a little bit more depth in some of these parts of my hair to kind of get it to start to match what was happening down at the bottom. I can come back in and erase a lot of this stuff out. But I do want to push a little bit more of that shadow now that I see what's happening down in the lower part of my hair, to make sure that it's fitting and really popping out from the rest of my head. Alright, so I've pushed some of that tone in there a lot more. You can definitely see it over here. Where some more of that shadow is kind of starting to play up. So now all I have to do is come in and pull out some of the highlights. Alright. So with that, woo, there we go. I think that my portrait looks done. So I might want to sit with it, put it up, hang it across the wall, maybe in class where I can really get some distance from it, and just double check maybe where some more value needs to be added for some of those shadows. Like I could probably bump this up quite a bit in here because it's definitely a lot darker on my picture. And that's kind of those touch-up areas that I do at the end to kind of really push in a lot of that value that I've been missing. Because as we do our drawing, we might find that some of those areas of shadow kind of need to be bumped up to make sure that it's that full value scale. And there's nothing wrong with needing to come back in at the end and just push some of that value just a little bit more than we had it to really make stuff pop. If you haven't done your eyelashes yet, this is a great time to come back in and do those. A little bit darker grooves in my mouth. So don't be afraid of value. Building it up slowly is 100% how we get stuff to pop. What I'm doing over here is definitely showing that the shadow underneath the hair is a lot darker than I had it before. And just by laying in a darker ground and then erasing out the lines for the hair is going to give me that shadow underneath it. So I come in like this, and then I come in and just pull out some of the hair. We can start to see some of that shadow behind there. All right. So I think this is a good place to keep talking just about constantly looking at your drawing and seeing if there's some areas. This is where a critique or feedback comes in handy, because I might not be done. I might still have another hour of work to put in here, but it's all of those small fine details and pushing and pulling things back and forth. All right, good luck with yours.